Welcome to the Soul-Led Starseed podcast. My name is Yolandi Boshoff. I'm a starseed and a light worker, and in this show I channel meditations and musings from the stars and from Mother Gaia. I focus on sharing activations and light codes for our collective awakening. Right, so welcome. So today's a bit of a weird one, and this was not really something I was planning on doing or that I would expect happening in the week that I'm actually taking off work. But so let me give you some insight. So today I'm speaking about the concept of the Dragon Priestesses and how they are connected to the Rose line. And this is something that I haven't really delved into a lot. I've delved into it, but I haven't really spoken about it much in my forums and in my groups and stuff like that. And I wanted to actually delve a little bit deeper today because it all started last night when I went to bed, and I was like, oh, there's something coming up, and like something needs to be said. So I could feel that there was like this feeling inside of me that like this part of me needed to speak. And I was literally in the dark. My husband is away with our son at the moment skiing, and I'm in the dark there, fumbling, trying to get my phone. And I'm like, I need to record this. And it was a beautiful channeling, which I will share with you later in the podcast today, from the great Dragon Mother. And I was like, okay. And this all just came flooding out. And it was like, okay, we can start talking about this now, Yolandi. You need to start sharing more about this information. So, so I'm taking it as a sign, and I'm listening, and I'm sharing. So here I am today. So basically, in 2018, I started working with the energies of Mary Magdalene, and then really got very into it, and I felt like, you know, she guided me totally back to the Rose line, to the sisterhood of the Rose, to the remembering of like all that happened, so much information, so much connected to this beautiful Rose line. And it was very interesting for me because I felt a deep calling to the priestesshood, and I knew deep inside of me that there was some connection where like there is this priestess connection. And when I had my DNA activated, one of my primary archetypes that came through was the high priestess. And I was like, okay, well, this kind of makes sense. I can feel it's calling. I can feel it. It's inside of me. It's kind of like it's brewing, right? And then I started looking around, and when I was in Avalon, I found out about the priestesses of Avalon. And I started studying all the deities that's connected to the Rose line. And how it works is that as a priestess, you would then choose a deity that you would sort of devote your work and your life to. And we started going through all the deities, and we went through Inanna and Mother Mary and Eve and Lilith and Mary Magdalene and all of these different deities that are connected to the Rose line. So they basically sort of, if you think about it, they carry the energy of the Rose line. Like historically, they are linked to this line. There's a lot of like beautiful information there. It's like the ethos of the Rose line is all about like coming from a place of love, all of that. So it's always spoken to me, and it's always been like felt like so right for me. And I know there's so many of you out there who also feel the same way. And so I had to get to the point where I had to dedicate myself to someone. And I was like, I just don't feel it. Like, I mean, I walked this path with Mary Magdalene. I did so many DNA activations with her by my side. I literally, like for 2 years, every time I would go into a channeling, she'd be there. Like, I was like, she's like my homie, right? She's like always with me. I'm always like, just working with that energy. And I was like, surely this means that like I would have to, I would devote my work to her. And it was like, no, I'm not feeling this. Like I can't do this. And a lot of things happened, and I basically stepped away from it all. And I was like, well, now what? I'm this like lone horse priestess, kind of like just doing my thing. And then I was in a really, really deep meditation, and I had this beautiful vision of the Dragon Mother Priestess coming to me and saying to me that you need to dedicate to the Dragon Priestesses. And I'm like, I've never even heard of this. I don't even know what the Dragon Priestesses are. But something deep inside of me was just like shouting, yes, 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 like you've come home to this. And so I started investigating it, and I was very open in the meditation and literally said, okay, I will pursue this. And it was so cool because then all of these amazing initiations happened, and I then started finding information about the Dragon Priestesses, and I was just like, oh my God, this is the thing. This is what I'm working for. This is like kind of this is where my energy lies. This is the energy that I carry. And there's something very deep and profound within myself that like feels this, right? It's just like it's in every cell of my being. And so I chose to basically become a dragon priestess again, as I had been before in my previous lifetimes. And it was like that just felt so right. And it took me quite a while, and it was quite a few months of like really going through it and really understanding the work and really understanding my connection to the dragons and what I'm doing here. And it was just like this all just makes so much sense to me. So I think it's very much about like us needing to start finding our way on the rose line. Because if I think about the rose line, um, it's this beautiful, it's like a methodology, it's like a way of life, it's like a belief system, it's like a truth, it's like a knowing that you carry within yourself. And I think if you are connected to it, you will know. And I always, from the first moment that I heard about it, I was like, whoa, this this is like. And I loved the teachings of Mary Magdalene, and I love what she brought out, and I loved her philosophy around like how we show up in that space of love and how we really connecting to our hearts and like living from that space. And that's what this line does. It literally reconnects you to living from your heart space and bringing that love back into the world. And you start with you. That for me was always the best. I'm not here to convert anyone. I'm not here to tell anyone how to live, but I live my life in that space and inspire others to want to live in that space of their heart as well. Um, and so it was really beautiful to see how the rose line has carried through so many centuries, and all of these amazing deities like Sophia and Mother Mary and Inanna and all of them, they are connected and they all brought wisdom onto the line. And then also how it went through a really hectic period where it was like all of this had to become underground. All of this literally had to become information and teachings that were not in line with the agenda of society, in line with the agenda of the churches at that point in time, etc. And that all of this had to kind of go underground. And there were so many beautiful souls, men, women alike, who missioned to really protect this essence of this line. And so what's happening now is that we are going through a stage where so many of us are starting to recognize these deities. They're all coming back. They're all kind of whispering in everyone's ears and saying, come back to the line, come back to the remembering. And when I channeled that message last night, it was just so beautiful. And you'll obviously listen to it now. I'll add it in here. But it's all about like coming back there, and you have to come back to the remembering. You have to move yourself back to remembering why you are here. And by acknowledging your connection to the rose line and to the priestesshood and to the priesthood, you can start that journey. By acknowledging and feeling within yourself that there is something here, you get to walk closer and more towards those dreams, those energies and frequencies, and what is really starting to come back into this world now. So this is basically my my summary of what the rose line is really about. And there are so many of us who are deeply connected, and there are so many of us who have been persecuted and executed in the name of this philosophy, in this, like, in this space of wanting to bring that love, that unconditional love, that beautiful energy back into life within ourselves. And now is the time to basically start embracing that again. Now is the time to really start feeling into, what is your space on here? What is your space on the line? How are you connected to the rose line? How are you here and meant to be working with these beautiful energies? And it doesn't mean that everyone is here to go and you know, stand up on a big stage and speak about all this stuff. No, this line affords us all the space to be connected to love in whatever way we feel is the right way, whatever way we feel is the best way to be doing this. And so we have to honor the fact that we can walk this path without stress, without feeling like we have to save the world, without feeling like everything is on your shoulders and you are the one who has to do this all. This is a collective. This is as they showed me last night, this is a chain of extraordinary, beautiful, open-hearted people walking together and holding hands. And in my utopian vision of humanity and how I feel everything can look, I always see us all working together. I always see us all holding hands and opening our hearts in a space that is beautiful and contained and respectful and full of love, and where ego and hierarchical thinking just takes a back seat, where we basically dissolve it all and make it all equal, and how we start respecting each other in that way. So this is my 2 cents worth on my own journey and how I see working with the rose line. And obviously, there are many different ways of looking at it, and there's no right or wrong. So, whatever you've learned, whatever you've been taught, honor that. This is my own personal feeling on it, this is my own experience. But what I do know is it is real. And what I do know is there are many of us connected to it, and that it is time for us to step back up and embrace our connection to this beautiful line. So, as I said before, this this channeling, which was done in my bed last night, and without me knowing, as I pressed record, it was 22:44, and I thought it was really funny because yesterday was the 24th of 222, so there's a lot of twos and fours involved, and I do feel that this year is a profound year for stepping back into your power as a priestess and finding your truth again, and really reconnecting with that love deep inside. So I'm going to now end this here and ask you to just have a listen to the channeling that came through last night. And yeah, thank you so much for being on this journey, and thank you so much for starting to remember, and for us all to walk this together now. So have a beautiful day and enjoy the channeling, and yeah, let me know what you think. Sending you so much love and blessings. Thank you.
Inviting in the beautiful energies, asking for a sacred protected circle, whatever information the guides want to bring through right now. Teresendili hasiaras echokorono toromahe. Jakarasikiun rashin talajatakis karasia sakiyata lahe sindekin. Jarasinda hikudrochotaram. Jakerasitele sindiki. Siatorosokon. Siasen. Alicia Ken. And so tonight, as I started getting ready for bed, I asked my guides, what is the messages? What is the messages that need to come through at this point in time? Alicia Ken. And they immediately took me back to the line of the rose, Arasiki, the line of the rose that runs through all of humanity, the line that runs from today all the way back thousands and thousands and thousands of years, right back to the beginning of this phase, right back to 10,000 years ago, Tiarasinda, when it sprung forth from the center of this planet, Tasikian, and when the red line started to run, Josarasin, and this line, Diasakirasin, connected to so many people, Yosakir, this line, Jotrakiasin, the lifeblood, this line, the truth, Kosiatre, this line that keeps returning us back to the essence of humanity, that keeps returning us back to the essence of who we really are. This line that helps us to stay strong, this line that helps us to walk this path, to be crazily devoted to something that we cannot see but only feel, something that lives deep within our hearts. And when you know that you are connected to this line, when you feel it deep within your womb, within the heart of your belly, when you know that all that you are, all that springs forth from you is deeply connected to this line. And as you walk on this line, lifetime after lifetime, and as you bring so many more back to the remembering of this line, and as you help them step back onto this line, and when they walk it, they remember, and when they connect with it and they feel it, they remember, and as they remember, they open up their hearts again, and as they open up their hearts again, they return to love, and as they return to love, the whole cycle starts again. Sia kontra kili shiasin, irikiase. And right at the point where this line sprung from the earth, the sacred line, Yasenda Kialash. Right there the mother dragon sits, Usulishiake, and she watches over this line, and she calls back to this line the priestesses who honored the dragons, Yarasekulishin, before they were vilified, before they were murdered. Siotoloshekiane, and those dragon priestesses, Yarasendoloshikin, they are starting to remember the dragons again. They are starting to Usiatalahinki. Feel their presence behind them, and even though they can't see them, they can feel them. And as they are stepping deeper into the remembering of working so deeply with these beautiful creatures of light, allowing them to step forward now, allowing themselves to remember all of their deepest connections. Remembering that they are not sleeping, but they are waiting. They are not sleeping. They are not needing to wake up. But we are needing to wake up to the remembering of them. And if you feel in some way connected to this line, and if you feel in some way connected to the remembering of what this rose line means to humanity, it is time that you step back onto this line. It is time that you deepen your remembering again. And deep within your womb, and deep within your heart, and deep within your throat, there where the truth lies, there where the remembering and the speaking of the truth lies. That needs to be the place where it comes from, when we start speaking it out again, when we start remembering and we start being open and honest about this remembering, about this feeling, about the joy and the love that it brought when you walked this line before, and how we are all meant to put each other back onto this line, help each other back onto this remembering path. Because as she sits there, the mother dragon, and she looks at everyone gravitating back to the line that she started weaving thousands of years ago. And this line connected not just to sacred places, but sacred humans that carry codes, sacred humans that carry information, and their beautiful energetic fields that became the repositories of the secrets of the line, and how when they were taken out, when they were killed because of their belief, because of their commitment, how they kept those secrets hidden in their own records, how they kept all those secrets hidden and woven, and they became the vessels of the truth, and they became the vessels of the light, and that there was no place you could ever hide it other than within the hearts of the people who walk on this line. And as they rise again to form a beautiful, connected, interwoven human remembering line, and as they remember each other and as they reconnect, forming a beautiful, connected remembering of all of the information, all of the love and the expansiveness and the connectedness. Risia sekunda rai talin, yasotroshe kir, malek rosandake, vachenko rosekin, alimarate kisk, yasokundo kolachen.